Hi, welcome to my video on Find the Least Common Denominator of Rational Expressions, Part 4. Find the LCD. Factor the denominator to find the LCD. If the denominator is not factored, you have to factor each denominator in order to pick out the LCD easier. Let's do some examples. A. 2x minus 6. 2 is the GCF. So when you take the 2 out, 2x divided by 2 is x. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. GCF is 3. 3x divided by 3 is x. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. So we need a 2 and a 3. That means we have 2 times 3. And we need an x minus 3. So 6 times x minus 3. So that x minus 3 is there is already. So we need a 2, a 3. So 6 is an LCD for 2 and 3. And we need an x minus 3. B, we have to factor the denominator. So x is the GCF. X squared divided by x is x. Negative 4x divided by x is negative 4. And we have a 5 as a GCF. 5x divided by 5 is x. Negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4. So I need an x. I need an x minus 4. I need a 5. And the x minus 4 is already there. So is this denominator in here? Yes. Is this denominator here? Yes. So that's the LCD. Remember the LCD, each one of these denominators has to be here. And C, I see x is a GCF. X squared divided by x is x. 2x divided by x is 2. I see x is a GCF in these two. So x squared divided by x is x. Negative 7x divided by x is negative 7. So I have an x as a factor. I have an x plus 2 as a factor. And this x is already here. X minus 7 is a factor. So the LCD is x times x plus 2 times x minus 7. Again, these two factors are here. These two factors are here and here. So that's the LCD, x times x plus 2, x minus 7. D, now we have a trinomial with a 1, so we have to factor. When we have a 1 coefficient, we do double brackets. X squared is x and x. The product is positive 1, so the only factors of 1 are 1 and 1. If the product is positive and the sum is negative 2, that means I have to have two minuses. Multiply negative 1, 1, add negative 2. And we have to factor this trinomial, that's a 1. Again, double brackets. X squared is x and x. The product is negative 3. The sum is 2. And the product of 3 is 3 and 1. 3 and 1 will multiply to give you 3. That's the only factors of 3. Now we have a negative 3. That means one of these numbers is positive and one is negative. And because the sum is plus 2, that means the 3 is positive and 1 is negative. So we have a factor of x minus 1, but this is x minus 1 squared, notice, because x minus 1 times x minus 1 is x minus 1 squared. Okay, we have a factor of x minus 1 in this one. We have a factor here of x plus 3. So all the factors are represented. We only have two different factors. And because we have an x minus 1 to the 1 power, right there, because we have an x minus 1 to the square power, we have to take the highest power of 2. So the LCD is x minus 1 squared times x plus 3. Again, the two of these is here, and x plus 3 is there, and x minus 1 is right there. So that's the LCD. E, just make sure, and I haven't mentioned, notice we're checking for descending order. X and a constant, that's a monomial, so it's no descending order. I have x squared and x, so it is. So I'm going to factor here. I have a 2 as a GCF. 4x divided by 2 is 2x. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And I got a already factored, so I don't have to do it. So 2x is the GCF. Oh, just x, not 2. Where am I getting? No 2 over here. So I'm going to take the x out only. So 2x squared divided by x is 2x. Negative x divided by x is negative 1. So I have a, let's look at the numbers. I have a 2 and a 6. So a GCF at the LCD, sorry, is 6. I have to have a 2x minus 1. And I have to have an x. So I got a 6 already, and I need an x. So let's put the x there. I got the x's here, and I got 2x minus 1 is here. So all together, 6, I have an x, and there's an x here and an x squared here, so I need to square. So to tidy that up in the right order, I have a 6x squared times 2x minus 1. The reason I changed that is because I like to have the monomial in front of the binomial. F, descending order. Okay, so we have to write this one in descending order. So that's a 3x minus 9. The 3x goes before the 9. Now we factor. X is the GCF. X squared divided by x is x. 3x divided by x is 3. We have 3 as a GCF, so it's 3x divided by 3 is x. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. So we have to have a x. We have to have an x plus 3. I have to have a 3. And I have to have an x minus 3. So 3x times x plus 3 times x minus 3. Let's see. Is x in the LCD? Yes. Is x plus 3 there? Yes. Is 3 there? Yes. Is x minus 3 there? Yes. So the LCD is all three of these multiplied. Notice you don't multiply them out. You leave them in the factored form. And G, do we have them in descending order? Yes. 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 But notice this one now. 7 is not a GCF. So that means I have to go 7 times negative 4 and get a product of negative 28. The sum is negative 12. So when 7 cannot come out of this trinomial, you have to multiply 7, the A by the C, they say. So it's a negative 28. Now the factors of 28 are 1, 28, 2 times 14, and 4 times 7. So what factors are here are going to give me a 12. Notice the product is negative, so the factors are going to differ. So 1 and 28 is 27. 4 and 7 is a 3. So it must be 2 times 14. And again, the product is negative, so one has to be plus and one has to be a minus. But the larger one is minus, so that's a plus 2 minus 14. Because multiply, negative 28, add negative 12. So we split the 12x. So I'm going to separate them. So the negative 12x is made up of a plus 2x minus 14x. Notice these two factors are written in here with an x, because when you add these two, you get the negative 12. And so x is a GCF in the first two. So that's 7x plus 2. And I have a negative right here. So because that's negative, I put a negative. And the GCF is a 2. So negative 14x divided by negative 2 is 7x. And a negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a plus 2. And x plus 2 is the GCF in both of these. So what's left here? X. What's left right here? Negative 2. And so that's the fact. I did all that work just to get this trinomial factored. X squared minus 4 is the difference of two squares. It's x, 2, 2, plus, minus. And right here I see a 6, the smallest number. What factor? 6 is not a factor of 21, but 3 is. So 3 is the GCF. 21x divided by 3 is 7x. 6 divided by 3 is plus 2. Now, I have to have a 7x plus 2. I have to have an x minus 2. I have to have an x plus 2. So, is there any, and I have to have the 3. So, is there any more? I have, let's see, x plus 7 is represented, x minus 2 is represented, x plus 2 is represented, x minus 2 is there, 3 is right there, 2x plus, 7x plus 2 is there. And do I have any? There are no square powers, cube powers, so that's the LCD. 3 times 7x plus 2 times x minus 2 times x plus 2. Again, factor your denominators and pick out the LCD. You've got to have one of each. And if you have more powers, then you've got to take the highest power. Find the LCD of each of these. Remember, pause, work it out, press play to see if you're right. Do one at a time, make sure. We have a 6x. Right here I have a 6 is GCF. 6x divided by 6 is x. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So I have to have a 6 as a factor. I have to have x as a factor. And I have to have x plus 2. 6x is here. This 6 is already there. The x plus 2 is there. So that's the LCD. I'm going to factor. It's descending order. I always check descending order. 2, 1. 1 on a constant, perfect. X is the GCF. And I get 6, or x squared divided by x is x. Negative 3x divided by x is negative 3. 4 is the GCF. So 4x divided by 4 is x. Negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. And I have to have an x. I have to have an x minus 3. And I have to have the 4. The monomials go in the front. So this denominator is right there. And the 4 times x minus 3 is right there. So that's the LCD. Number 3, x squared minus 9 is the difference of two squares. So that's an x, 3, 3, plus, minus. 7x minus 21, 7 is a GCF. I get an x minus 3 when I divide 7 into these two. I have to have an x plus 3. I have to have an x minus 3. And I have to have a 7. So these two factors are right here. And these two are right there. So that's the LCD for these denominators. And descending order, square, 1 and constant. X squared and a constant, perfect. And I got a 1 right here, so that means this is going to be a double bracket. So x squared is x and x. The factors of 4 are 4 times 1 and 2 times 2. Which pair of factors is going to give me a 3? 4 and 1. So there's the 4 and the 1. The product is negative 4. The sum is negative 3. So I have to have a product is negative, must be a plus and a minus. So I must have a negative 4 and a plus 1. Perfect. X squared minus 1, difference of two squares. It's x, 1, 1, plus, minus. I have to have an x minus 4. I have to have an x plus 1. And I have to have an x minus 1. There's only one power of each. Again, check this denominator. X minus 4, x plus 1, yes, x minus 1. So this LCD represents both of these. Number 5, I have 4x squared minus 1 descending order. I have an x squared, x, and a constant descending order. So again, notice I have the difference of two squares. So 4x squared is 2x times 2x. 1 is 1 times 1 with a plus and a minus. And now we have a lot of work to do here. So I got to work all this out to see what this factoring is. And there's a 2. The 2 can't come out, so I got to go, let's put it down where, let's do it up right here. So I have a 2 times 1. I got a product of 2 times 1. I got a sum of 3. Remember, 2 is not a GCF, so I have to do product of 2 times 1, and the sum is 3. So what's the factors of 2? There's only 2 of them, 2 and 1. So, because the product is positive and the sum is positive, then I have a 2 and a 1. 2 times 1. So I got a 2x, and I have a plus 1. And so I got a 2 here, so that's a plus 2x plus 1x. And the GCF in these two is 2x, so take it out. 2x squared divided by 2x is x. Positive 2x divided by 2x is plus 1. And I have as an x, so I have a plus 1 GCF. So that's x plus 1 when you divide. So I have, as you can see, I'll write it here. So I have an x plus 1, that's common to the two of these. And what's left? 2x plus 1. Fully factored. Now, I have to have 2x plus 1. I have to have a 2x minus 1. X plus 1 is not here, so I'll write it down. And 2x plus 1 is already there. And there's only one power of each. So is this denominator that I have right here, in here? Yes, is there and there. Is this denominator in the LCD? Yes. X plus 1 is there. 2x plus 1 is there. So that's the LCD, the product of these three. Number 6, I have to go with descending order. So I have to go with x squared plus 6x. And I have to go with x squared plus x minus 30. Descending order in order to factor. Makes it easier to factor. Notice I didn't change the signs because there's no equal sign. I'm not transposing across the equal sign. And we have an x is the GCF. X squared divided by x is x. 6x divided by x is plus 6. And I have a 1 coefficient. So x squared with a 1 coefficient is x and x. Now the odds are that this is going to, if it's going to, then probably x plus 6 could be a factor up with this 30, because 30 has a factor of 6. So if we take a chance and go plus 6 like that, you're taking a chance that x plus 6 is a factor of both of these. If that be the case, positive 6 divided into negative 30 is a negative 5. And let's check. Multiply. Positive 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. Add 1. Yes, because the product is negative 30 and the sum is 1. So I took a chance that this factor might be here. If not, work it out. You know, like negative 30. Product is negative 30. The sum is 1. So the factors of 30 to give you a 1. Remember, factors of 30 are 1 times 30, 3 times 10, and 6 times 5. And we also got 2 times 15. So which factor is the 30? Notice the product is negative. So if the product is negative, you're subtracting, you get a 1. So that's subtract, you get a 29. Subtract here, you get a 7. Subtract here, you get a 13. So it's 6 and 5. If you multiply to get a negative 30, one got to be plus and one got to be a minus. So because the sum is positive 1, we got a positive 6 and a minus 5. So if we did all this to get it, perfect. You got a plus 6 minus 5. Fits in. But again, be aware. If this, whatever you have here, might be over here. So that's why I said x plus 6, that's here, might be with 30, x plus 6. And that be the case, then negative 5 times 6 gives it to me. And if we did FOIL on this, we'll come back to here. So the LCD, I have to have an x. I have to have an x plus 6. And what's here? That's not already there. X minus 5. I need it. So the two of these are here and here. X plus 6 and x minus 5 is there. So this is the LCD. Perfect. Descending order. Excellent. X constant. X squared x constant. X squared and x. So I take a 2 out of the GCF. I see a 1, so I see double bracket. X squared is x and x. The factors of 25 to give you 10 got to be 5 and 5. Because the product is positive and the sum is negative, got to be two negatives. Multiply. Plus 25. Add. Negative 10. X is the GCF. Take it out. I get an x minus 5. Now, I have to have a 2. I have to have an x minus 5. And I got the x minus 5 here. And I have to have an x and an x minus 5. So I picked up 2, x minus 5, and I picked up the x. Now, let's see. But notice that x minus 5 here, because you have the 2 of them, that's a square. That makes sense. So I have a 2 and an x minus 5 and an x, but there's 1 here, and there's 1 here, and there's 2 here. Because that's square, and I have to put a square. What makes sense is that there's only 1x minus 5 here and here, but there's 2 of them here. So the 2 of these got to be in the LCD. So to tidy it up, I have to have a 2 times x minus 5 squared, because the monomials got to go in. I put the monomials in the front all the time. And let's see what's on the next page. More practice. Remember, the more you practice, the better. And we have descending order. Now I got 4 fractions, makes no difference. I have an x minus 1. I have 4 outside of x minus 1. I have a 4x, and I have an x outside of x minus 1. So they're all factored. So I have to have a x minus 1. I have to have a 4. X minus 1 is already there. I got a 4x, so I need an x. So I put the x right here. So the x here is right there. The x minus 1 is right there. So 4x times x minus 4. Remember, the 4x that's right here takes care of the 4 and the x that's in these two. And the x minus 1 is only one of them. So notice this denominator, x minus 1 is right here. 4 times x minus 1 is right there. 4x is right there. And x times x minus 1 is right there. So that's the LCD, 4x times x minus 1. Descending order, yes. Square 1 constant, square 1 constant, square and a constant, perfect. Difference of 2 squares. X, 6, 6, plus, minus. There's a 1 coefficient. So we got 1 coefficient, x squared is x and x. The factors of 6 are 6 and 1 or 2 and 3. And probably could be 6 and 1. Let's see, product is negative 6. So 6, the product is negative 6. So that's 6 times 1 or 3 times 2. Sum is 5. So again, 2 of them. Got to be careful now. That's a 3. But 2 of these could be a 5. But I got a product is negative 6. The sum is 5. And I have a plus and a minus. So notice the product is negative, so I will have a plus and a minus. So I got to multiply to get 6 and add to give me 5. So it must be negative 6 plus 1. Notice the 6 is here in both of them. So you can figure that 6 would be in one of these. And this is a 1. So I got double brackets. It's x and x. Remember, 6 is here and 6 is here. 6 could also be here. So again, 6 and 1 or 3 and 2. But the only factors of 6 that'll give you 7 is 6 and 1. So I got to go with 6 and 1 because 6 and 1 had to give you 7. Because the product is positive, I'll have 2 of the middle signs, 2 pluses. Why? The product is positive, plus 6. The sum is positive, plus 7. Perfect. And I have to have an x plus 6. I have to have an x minus 6. Right here I have an x plus 1 is a different factor. X plus 6 is here. X plus 1 is here. So let's check. Are the 2 of these as factors in here? Yes. Are the 2 of these in the LCD? Yes. Yes. Are the 2 of these in the LCD? X plus 6? Yes. X plus 1? Yes. So that's the LCD for number 9. And descending order, perfect. X squared, x constant, x squared, 1 constant. And I see a 3 and a 5x, sorry, not 3. I see an x, just an x, not a, x is the GCF, so that's 5x plus 3. And GCF is a 7, so 7 into 14x goes 2x plus 1. And 10 is not a GCF, you can't take it out. So therefore, I have to have, and just pretend, or think for a second, that that's a 10, which is made up of 5 and 2. So it's possible the 3 is 3 times 1. Is it possible that the 2 of these could be the factorization of this? We'll check it. 5x times 2x is 10x. 3 times 1 is 3. Outside is 5. Inside is 6. Makes up 11. So it is 5x plus 3 times 2x plus 1. If you multiply those by 5, you will get. So what I did, I looked and observed that the 2 of these could be factors here. And if it didn't, let's go and check it out. Because 10 can't come out, the product is 10 times 3, which is 30. The sum is 11. So what's the factors of 30 to give you 11? If you think about it, 6 and 5. 30 and 1, 3 and 10 won't do it. 2 and 15, so 6 and 5. So 6 and 5 are the 2 factors that will multiply to give you 30 and add to give you 11. So 10x squared plus 6x plus 5x plus 3. So the GCF here is a 2x. That's a 5x plus 3. And here we take out a plus, but there's no GCF, only a 1. So we take out a plus 1. That won't change it. 5x plus 3. So notice I have a 5x plus 3, which is here. What's left? 2x plus 1. And as I gambled, that what? These 2 are the factors of this. Again, why? Because I noticed that 5x times 2x is 10x, and 3 times 1 is 3. So I figured if I did the FOIL on those, rather than go through this. So we have a x, we have a 5x plus 3. We need the 7. We need the 2x plus 1. 5x plus 3 is already there. 2x plus 1 is already there. So all these denominators are represented in here. That's the LCD. And descending order for number 11. Square 1. Square 1 constant. 4, 3. So we do have in these, so we have a 3x in these. So 3x squared divided by 3x is x. Negative 12x divided by 3x is negative 4. I have a 1 coefficient, so that's a double bracket with an x. So x squared is x and x. What's the factors of 16? That give me an 8. The product is 16. The sum is negative 8. So 4 and 4 will give me an 8. And because the product is positive, I'll have to have 2 negatives. Why? Multiply, plus 16. Add, negative 8. And we have a x, it's the GCF, but the smallest power is 3. So x cubed is in both of these. That's an x minus 4. And so when I factor here, I need a 3, I need an x, and I need an x minus 4. But notice that there's 2 of them here. So this is an x minus 4 squared. So I have because I have a double here, I can write the square. Now let's see, I got a 3, I have an x, I have an x minus 4. X minus 4 is there. X cubed. Okay, we got an x. Now let's go through. 3 is there. I got an x here and here, but I got to take the highest power. And I got x minus 4 squared, so I have to take that one. Because you have to write it as, like, this is x cubed, So notice that the x cubed has the x into it. The x minus 4 squared has the x plus x minus 4 built into it. So when you write down the single factors of 3 and x minus 4, then you're going to go back and check for is any higher powers other than 1. Let's check. Is 3x into this? Yes. X minus 4? Yes. X minus 4 squared? Yes. X cubed? Yes. X minus 4? Yes. So all these denominators, this one and this one and this one, are all represented here. What about if you didn't write x minus 4 squared, like I did? Well, you got 1x minus 4 here, you got 1 there, but you got 2 here. But the LCD got to have the 2 of these. So therefore you got to write down x minus 4 times x minus 4, which is x minus 4 squared. So that's factoring denominators to find the LCD. Hopefully you understand and know what I'm doing, and because you'll need this when we add and subtract fractions. If you like my video, click the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that's going to be on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.